The Western gas market, in which we're a core part, is becoming really strong, and there's a lot of interest in these molecules that we'll be marketing. So we're in the late stages of talking with marketing partners, which are the people who are going to go out and sell these volumes for us, and we should have news on that front in the very near term.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Colin Harrington. He's the CEO of Zephyr Energy. And Colin, nice to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. And big news out from the company today on a number of different fronts. Let's start with the project first, because you've made some announcements that really pushes the project forward. I guess this news really comes off of news that you had recently. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, starting with a fantastic well test result in the first half of the year, and then a really promising upgrade in our CPR, so third-party reserve report. Massive upgrade in terms of reserves at the project and also of the resources. So we've always been looking to expand this project both horizontally, including adding additional acreage, but also vertically by testing the overlying reservoirs. Today we're announcing that we have put up for nomination another 38,000 acres, with potentially more to come. And what's really important to remember is in this neck of the woods, we own the only gathering systems that are there. And over the years, we've built up a checkerboard acreage position. So we feel like we're in a really strong position to add more acreage in, and that has knock-on effects. It makes the project larger, it makes it more attractive to partners who are potentially looking at a farm-in position. We're really, really encouraged by what's happening, from the land position of the play. But then secondly, when you look at the ops front, I should make clear we are pushing forward as if we're doing this on our own. We're obviously looking at partners and looking for farm-ins or potential JV funders. But from an ops standpoint, we're driving this forward as quickly as we can. So, every week we meet with Enbridge to work through engineering and regulatory approvals to tie in the existing wells that we have. Our ops team has been on the ground doing some well work out there in the Paradox. From a tie-in standpoint, we're doing everything we can that's in our control, and we're working really hard with the regulators. There's certain things we can't we can't control, like government shutdowns. But
Sure.
beyond that, we're really pushing hard to work with the utility, complete the commercials. And just as an aside, the last thing here is the Western gas market, in which we're a core part, is becoming really strong, and there's a lot of interest in these molecules that we'll be marketing. So we're in the late stages of talking with marketing partners, which are the people who are going to go out and sell these volumes for us, and we should have news on that front in the very near term. So
Okay.
overall, lots of ops work, lots of partnership work and commercials. I know it's frustrating to people when we can't always share details of negotiations as it's going on. I'm frustrated by where our share price is, and we haven't been able to give a lot of news, but there has been progress in the background that's teeing us up really nicely to develop this.
Okay. Let's talk about the lender part of it, because you announced some financial details today with First National Bank and Trust, which is your lender,
Yep.
that you've been able to refinance some things, and people may go, oh, what does that mean? It really adds a lot to the bottom line of a project like this when you're talking about the numbers that you have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And look, I know there's not as much interest in the non-op side of our business, but it's foundational to everything we do. It provides all the cash flow for the company at the moment, and lets us proceed with our other work. So, yes, refinancing speaks volumes to the quality of the portfolio we put together. FIBT's internal assessment valued it, and this is just the PDP, so just the producing barrels at 46 million. They'll lend up to 50% of that. So right now we're at around 22 million. Cash flow has paid off a lot of debt over the years. We're in a comfortable position there. So from a loan standpoint, we took the opportunity to combine some loans for efficiency, and also we get a lower interest rate out of it. We're now at 8.9% on the refinance portion. So we took a opportunity at an attractive time in the market to refinance some of this out, and we're certainly happy about where things stand there.
Okay. In the
One,
news,
one last one last
yeah,
point I should
yeah,
make on this.
yeah.
We're talking about 46 million of PDP value. There's also a lot of PUD value in this non-op portfolio. It's probably double the amount of PUDs in there again. So when I look at our market cap today, we're trading below the value of the non-op business alone with nothing for the Paradox. And that's really frustrating to me. But again, it's something we'll try to communicate and talk to our investors and do a better job of communicating the existing value proposition here.
Okay. Speaking of investors, you have a new strategic investor, $2 million coming in. Obviously, a positive sign there. And tell me a bit about getting this and also what you plan to do with it.
Yeah. So, of course, as you progress through operations, there are always new costs that come up. So, for example, here we've just nominated this acreage. We want to be in a position that when it comes up for auction, we can, bid on it, incredibly bid on it, and get this acreage. We think we're in a strong position to, but we want the flexibility to do that. Secondly, there are always things, regulatory changes, for example, where federal bonding requirements are now much higher than they were a year ago. That's been new legislation or new regulations that have come through, and we need to be able to address that. But from the standpoint, when I look at a larger picture here, why I'm so positive about this is that our commercial bank won't lend against non-producing Paradox assets. We know we will be in production here as soon as we possibly can, but it's good to see that lenders will stick up, and support this project now with minimal dilution versus in the past we'd have to go to the equity markets to raise this type of money. I think we're in a place where the Paradox, with all the value we see from the CPR, with the wells already drilled, it's nice to see that we can access non-traditional funding there and continue to push the project along. And I think by landing new acreage, which we very much hope to do here, it's going to be of significant value for everybody.
Okay, let's talk about next steps ahead because I know that you've done a lot of work getting to this particular point. So, just so people understand, what are sort of the key milestones you want to see for the company in the next little while?
Yeah, so from an operational standpoint, you want to see, landing a marketer, more details around the gas processing side, which we've completed our engineering on there, and then obviously a timeline with Enbridge, and that's something we're working through. And when we have all of the commercials taken care of from that standpoint, we'll be able to release an overall view of how the project will be coming together. So we expect that all in the near term. And again, from the non-op side, we're getting well proposals all the time. We're continuing to push that forward. So there's going to be a lot of news flow that comes up. Not all of it in our control, particularly on the regulatory side, but we're pushing really hard to make sure we can support and get news flow out into the market as quickly as possible.
Colin, thanks so much. Really good conversation today. Lots of updates for everyone, and really appreciate your time. So thank you.
All right, Steve, thanks. Good to see you, and we'll talk soon.
All right, good stuff. There's Colin Harrington, the CEO of Zephyr Energy.